Hey, everyone. I'm so happy to kick off day 21. I can't believe this. We are 9 days out from 30 days. 30 days. 30 days of equitable grading in STEM. This is based off of the book Equity Builds Expertise 9 Strategies for STEM Teachers to Reach All Students. This journey began uh, with writing this book. And then when I got to chapter 8, which is called Real Numbers for Real Knowledge, strategy 8, which is implementing equitable grading, after running through a few scenarios that were raised with me, that were challenges for some students, some teachers, some families, I realized that this was one of the hardest areas for even me as a teacher to kind of grapple with. And there's some aspects of this that continue to be an area of growth for me, in an area in which I grapple with. And so I decided to create a planner that would help. I know we don't have much time as educators, but if we have time to slow down, to pause, to really reflect on our why behind our grades, that there are opportunities, many opportunities for us to infuse more equitable practices that will actually serve more students. And so that's where this planner came into play. However, I will say that through going through these 30 days live, I have so many ideas of additional resources. I'm considering first starting off with providing them and making some of the new resources available as a download, in addition to those who already purchased the planner. But I'm also considering a reprint and an update of the particular planner because I'm liking where this is going, and I think it will support any intensive or work that I am doing with educators, with teams, with districts, even more. So basically taking a lot of the work and a lot of the things that were planned to be within the workshops, taking that out and putting it in the actual planner. All right, so we're at day 21. And this kicks off our last section of the planner. We started off really focusing on whether our grades were most reflective of knowledge and true understanding and growth. Okay, so that was part 1. Then part 2 was ensuring that we tried as best as we could to eliminate any of the biases that creep in through external factors like environment that can influence our grades. And then now we are in the last section where we are trying to build students' self-efficacy. And part of how I start my book is talking about how I had a really windy path into STEM, partly because I didn't believe that I deserved to be in STEM. Growing up in the Bronx, one of the things I wanted to do was actually be a marine biologist, and that was based off of some of the Arizona books that my uncle had and National Geographic books that my great uncle, actually, Uncle Stor was my great uncle had shared with me growing up. That, and National Geographic, I'm not going to lie, we used to watch that channel in PBS a lot in my household. And so in my grandmother's house, there was this vision of the water that I loved, and this interest in the creatures and the unknown, really the unknown within the water that really intrigued me. However, by the time I got older, it was something that I really had a passion for, but something that I never truly deep down believed was possible for me. And so building self-efficacy, and part of that reason was because I never really felt as if I had teachers that helped me believe that this was something that was possible for me. So how do we do that? Day 21 focuses on mistakes as learning opportunities. I say this all the time that in my 30 plus years in education, I've made the most amazing mistakes in my life. And I feel that that's part of the reason why we're here, that it's part of my mission to share my lessons learned from every single one of them. So today we're focusing on a hashtag growth mindset and hashtag student self efficacy because we want to normalize mistakes as learning opportunities. So, the reflection question for you to focus on today is, how do you normalize mistakes in your classrooms? One way to do this is to create something that I like to call a best mistakes board. Get students talking about what they did wrong and what they learned from that lesson, right? If you create a best mistakes board, students are going to actually start to be excited about sharing with their peers the lessons that they've learned. Not only will they be able to share the lessons that they learned, but they'll start to believe that making mistakes is normal. It is part of the process, especially those of you out there who are science teachers. Listen, this is how most of the scientific things that we've discovered, that we talk about, that we use today come into the general public. It's because of some mistake that we've made, that we discovered, that we redid, that we explored further because we became curious and valued the mistakes that we made along the way and the data that it presented as a result. Students could very easily post mistakes they learned from and then show that failure is part of growth. All right, so celebrating mistakes strengthens our learning and our confidence, and every grade tells a story. So let's be sure that we're making it one that is worth telling. All right, y'all. Happy Sunday. I hope your week kicks off well. And as we count down these last few days of us going through our planner and equitable grading, if you haven't grabbed a copy yet of either the book or the planner, go ahead and grab a copy. And you can check also in the description. That's where I have the link for purchasing both. But pick up a copy and then join the conversation. I am truly enjoying going live and sharing these tips and lessons learned, and I hope you find value in it. And if you do, please subscribe, share it with a friend, a colleague, and I hope to see some comments around what you're doing and what you're trying. All right, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great week.